Hi, I'm Aaliyah. I've always been the good daughter, the one who followed the rules and made my parents proud. Until now, that is. Growing up, my parents, Diane and Robert, had my life mapped out. College, career, marriage, all on their timeline. I love them, but sometimes their suggestions felt more like commands. What do you think about this dress for dinner tonight? Dad made reservations at that fancy Italian place? Mom, I told you I already had plans with Marcus. Diane rolled her eyes. You see him every day. Family comes first, Aaliyah. That was 3 months ago, before everything changed. I was sitting at my kitchen table staring at the pregnancy test. Positive. My hands trembled as I called Marcus. Hey, babe, can you talk? My voice cracked. What's wrong? You sound weird. I'm pregnant. Silence. Then, I'm coming over, right now. 30 minutes later, Marcus was at my door. His eyes were wide, but he wrapped me in a hug so tight I could barely breathe. We're having a baby? His voice was filled with wonder, not dread. You're not mad? Mad? Aaliyah, this is unexpected, but I love you. We'll figure it out together. Telling my parents was next. I invited them over for dinner, my stomach in knots. We have news, Marcus said, squeezing my hand under the table. We're pregnant, I blurted out. Robert's fork clattered against his plate. Diane froze, her wine glass halfway to her lips. You're what? Mom finally said. Almost 3 months along. Dad cleared his throat. Well, this is surprising. We know it's not ideal timing, Marcus jumped in, but we're excited. My parents exchanged a look I couldn't read. Of course, Diane said, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. We're just processing. Over the next few weeks, they seemed to come around. Mom even bought a tiny onesie, and Dad talked about converting their guest room into a nursery for when you visit. But something felt off. Their smiles seemed forced. They'd stopped talking when I entered a room. Last night, I went to borrow Mom's phone charger while she was in the shower. Her phone lit up with a text from Dad. Did you get the pills? We need to take care of this problem before it's too late. My blood ran cold. I scrolled up, hands shaking. Aaliyah can't handle a baby. She'll ruin her life. We raised her for better than this. Robert, I found someone who can get us what we need. No prescription required. Good. She trusts us. It won't be hard to get her to take them. I felt sick, clutching the phone until my knuckles turned white. My own parents, plotting to end my pregnancy without my knowledge. The two people I'd trusted my entire life. I took photos of the texts with my own phone, then carefully put Mom's phone back. They had no idea I knew. And that was my advantage. I couldn't sleep that night. How could they? My own parents plotting against me, against their grandchild? I needed to know more before confronting them. The next morning, I acted normal while my mind raced. Mom hummed in the kitchen when I stopped by for breakfast. You look tired, sweetie. Everything okay? Just pregnancy stuff. The app says fatigue is normal. Poor thing. I'm making some special tea that'll help with that. I watched her hands carefully. What's in it? Oh, just herbs. Good for pregnant women. Her eyes flickered away from mine. Thanks, but I've been sticking to what my doctor approved. Mom's smile tightened. Doctors don't know everything about natural remedies. I left without drinking anything they offered. That afternoon, I called Marcus. I need to show you something. He was at my place within 20 minutes, staring at the screenshots, face darkening. These are real? You're sure? It's their phone numbers, their conversation. They want to... I couldn't even finish. Marcus pulled me close. We need help. Someone they won't suspect. That's when I thought of Aunt Sophia, my mom's sister. They'd been competitive since childhood, and Sophia had always been the rebel of the family. I called her that evening, voice shaking. Can we meet somewhere private? I can't talk about this over the phone. We met at a cafe across town. Sophia's eyes widened as I showed her the texts. Holy shit, Aaliyah, that's... I knew my sister could be controlling, but this is criminal. What should I do? First, we document everything. Then we make sure you're never alone with them. Sophia let me install a recording app on her phone. I'll get them talking next family dinner. They never suspect I'm paying attention. 3 days later, she sent me an audio file. I listened with Marcus beside me. Diane, you can't just slip medication into her food, Sophia's voice said casually. Mind your business, Mom hissed. We're helping her. She's throwing her life away. With what exactly? Nothing illegal, just something to reset things. My hands trembled as I stopped the recording. They admitted it. We need more, Marcus said. Something specific about the medication. I nodded, and I need to know what they're planning to give me. The next time I visited, I pretended to nap on their couch while they talked in the kitchen. Robert, what if she notices? These pills don't exactly look like vitamins. Crush them into something strong tasting. That smoothie you make. I heard rustling, then Dad reading. Takes effect within 24 hours. She'll think it's just a miscarriage. I bit my lip until I tasted blood, fighting back tears. Once they left the kitchen, I snapped photos of the pill bottle they'd left on the counter. The next day, I showed the photos to my OBGYN, Dr. Chen. These are definitely not prenatal vitamins. This is a black market abortion drug. It could cause hemorrhaging, infection, even permanent damage. Where did you get this? My parents, I whispered. They're planning to give it to me without my knowledge. Dr. Chen's face hardened. That's assault, and it could kill you, not just end your pregnancy. I left the office with medical documentation and a growing resolve. They weren't just trying to end my pregnancy. They were willing to risk my life. That night, I laid out everything we had gathered so far. Screenshots, recordings, and Dr. Chen's medical documentation. It wasn't enough. I needed them to incriminate themselves beyond any doubt. We need to set up cameras, Marcus suggested, scrolling through tiny spy cameras online. And I need to act normal, like I don't suspect anything. The next day, I called my mom. I've been thinking about that special tea you mentioned. Could you make some for me? Of course, sweetie. Why don't you come for dinner tomorrow? I arrived with 2 tiny cameras hidden in my purse. While Mom and Dad were occupied, I placed one in the kitchen and another in the living room. You're looking better, Dad commented as we ate. I'm finally getting my energy back. I'm even thinking about names for the baby. Mom nearly choked on her wine. Isn't it a bit early for that? Never too early to plan for family, I said, watching her face carefully. After dinner, I excused myself to the bathroom and called Marcus. They're definitely planning something. Mom keeps offering me drinks, but she's being weird about it. Be careful. Don't consume anything they give you. When I returned, Dad handed me a smoothie. Your mother made this specially for you, full of nutrients for the baby. I pretended to sip it while actually letting it drain into a small container in my lap. Delicious. I'll take the rest home. The next day, I sent the smoothie to a lab doctor Chen recommended. Meanwhile, I checked the camera footage. Jackpot. Robert, did you crush the pills like I told you? Yes, Diane. She won't taste it with all that fruit. Good. By this weekend, this whole nightmare will be over. She'll think it was just nature taking its course. I felt sick watching them, but I had what I needed. Now for the next step. Grandma Eleanor. My grandmother was the family matriarch. At 78, Eleanor commanded respect from everyone, including my parents. Family meant everything to her, which made what my parents were doing even more twisted. I visited her alone, careful not to show my hand yet. How's my great-grandchild doing in there? Grandma placed her hand on my belly. Growing strong. Actually, I wanted to ask you something. What would you say if someone tried to hurt your family? Eleanor's eyes narrowed. No one hurts my family and gets away with it. Why do you ask? Just thinking about becoming a mother myself, how protective I already feel. Trust that instinct, Aaliyah. It'll serve you well. Later that week, I called my cousin Jamie, Grandma's favorite and the family gossip hub. I need your help with something big. We met at a diner far from family territory. Holy crap, Jamie whispered after I showed him everything. Aunt Diane and Uncle Robert would really do this? I need a way to expose them to everyone at once. No chance for them to spin it. Jamie leaned forward. Grandma Eleanor's birthday dinner is next Saturday. Everyone will be there. Perfect. Can you help me set up? What do you need? Access to the dining room TV, and a guarantee that my parents won't know I'm onto them until it's too late. The lab results came back the next day. The smoothie contained 3 times the recommended dose of the black market abortion drug. I forwarded everything to Marcus, Sophia, and Jamie, then called Grandma Eleanor. Can I bring a special presentation for your birthday dinner? A family tribute? Of course, dear. That sounds lovely. I spent the next 3 days organizing all the evidence, texts, recordings, video clips, and lab results, arranging them into a presentation that no one could dismiss. The night before the dinner, Marcus held me as I trembled. Are you sure you want to do it this way? It'll be nuclear. They were willing to risk my life and our babies. They don't deserve privacy or mercy. The next morning, I arrived early at Grandma's house with Jamie. TV's all set up, he whispered. Remote is under your place setting. I touched my still small baby bump. Tomorrow, you'll be safe from them forever. Grandma Eleanor's dining room filled with family by 7 o'clock. My parents arrived last, looking perfectly put together as always. Mom kissed my cheek while Dad patted my shoulder. How are you feeling, sweetie? Any morning sickness today? I'm fine. Actually, I've never felt more clear-headed. Once everyone settled with drinks, Jamie stood. Before dinner, Aaliyah has prepared a special birthday tribute for Grandma. I pulled the remote from under my napkin. This is about family, about truth, and about what some people will do to control others. The TV flickered on, showing screenshots of my parents' text conversations. The room went silent. What is this? Grandma leaned forward, squinting at the screen. Evidence that my parents tried to secretly terminate my pregnancy against my will. The video continued with footage from my hidden cameras, showing them crushing pills into my smoothie, followed by the lab results. The medication they tried to give me could have caused hemorrhaging or permanent damage. It could have killed me. Mom jumped up. Turn that off! This is ridiculous! Is it? Is that why you told Aunt Sophia you were getting me something to reset things? The recording of their conversation played next. Aunt Sophia crossed her arms, glaring at her sister. I knew something was off, but this is criminal, Diane. Dad tried damage control. You don't understand. We were protecting her future. By poisoning me? By killing your grandchild? Grandma Eleanor's face had turned stony. Is this true, Robert? Diane? We were trying to help, Mom pleaded. She's too young, not ready. Not your decision to make. Grandma slammed her hand on the table. You plotted against your own daughter, against my great-grandchild. We're her parents, Dad shouted. We know what's best. You know nothing about being parents, I said calmly. Parents protect their children. They don't poison them. Uncle Tim stood up. You realize this is illegal, right? This is assault. She has no proof those pills came from us, Dad stammered. I played the final video, Dad reading the pill bottle instructions aloud in their kitchen. Grandma slowly stood. I've made my decision. Robert and Diane, you are no longer welcome in this family. You are cut from my will, effective immediately. Mom, please. Diane reached for her. I'm not your mother anymore. Not after this. My parents turned to me, desperation in their eyes. Aaliyah, we're so sorry. We were wrong. Please forgive us. Forgiveness? You weren't sorry when you plotted behind my back. You weren't sorry until you got caught. We can change, Dad begged. Give us another chance. No, you'll never see me or your grandchild. Ever. Marcus wrapped his arm around me as my parents were escorted out by Uncle Tim and Jamie. 6 months later, I held my daughter, Lily, in the nursery Grandma Eleanor had helped us prepare. She has your eyes, Marcus whispered, gently touching our baby's cheek. Aunt Sophia brought in a tiny handmade blanket. Another gift from the family who actually loves you both. My parents had tried reaching out multiple times, sending gifts, letters, even showing up at our door once. Each attempt was met with silence. Any regrets? Jamie asked during Lily's welcome party. I looked around at my real family. Marcus, Grandma Eleanor, Aunt Sophia, Jamie, and others who had stood by us. None. Some people don't deserve second chances. Grandma took my hand. Family isn't just blood, Aaliyah. It's who stands with you when it matters. I nodded, watching Lily sleep peacefully, protected by the family who had chosen to love her, and by a mother who had fought to give her the chance to exist. The story of Aaliyah's battle against her parents' betrayal has come to an end. What would you have done if you discovered your own parents plotting to harm your unborn child? Would you have exposed them publicly like Aaliyah did, or handled it differently? If you enjoyed this story of family betrayal and justice, hit that like button and subscribe for more compelling stories that make you think. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one.